People are waiting.
Oh, good
People
lord.
need to see the
Alrighty.
zebra.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
the purple zebra.
Here we go. We are live with Straight Ahead Fred, Spencer,
Zebra.
Spencer Roney, the San Francisco treat,
Yo.
and
Yeah.
and Cadogan Dave.
Hi.
I
That's
think.
what I get. You really dressed that one up.
Cadaven.
How come I couldn't be Dave Aroni, the San Francisco treat?
That'll be
How
your
come
name.
Spencer got that one?
Hey,
Yeah.
when you're dressed more than a hoodie and when you're dressed as well as me, you got to dress up a bit more.
That's right. I blame my lack of wardrobe on the whole situation. We'll just have to get by it.
Alrighty. So today we are going to go through creating characters for the strange. So this is going to be kind of a little bit like a tutorial kind of thing. And once I go through the aspects of how this game is roughly played, so that everybody's kind of on the same page, we are going to go offline and we're going to finish creating these characters for the game next week. But in order to give you YouTubians some sort of form of entertainment for tonight, this is what we are doing. We are going to go through the rules and kind of explain things on how things work. So
And wearing this.
and show off our great looking duds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And our wonderful crazy backgrounds. Dave, you don't have a background. What's going on with you there?
I don't know. It's not. When I get in the way, it kind of it blows out. It's my analog projected background. I'm not using the high tech camera, like webcam tricks that you guys use.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to catch up with us here in technology. So you're lagging behind on it.
man.
You're using those old Apple computers.
Apple too.
No idea what you guys are talking about. Are we playing a game here or something?
Oh, we're building characters. now.
Alrighty, so
There we
This,
go.
this is real life, man.
now,
Real
of course,
life.
Oh, yeah.
Fantasy Grounds has kind of like a really, really bare bones system. So I have to go in personally and create everything, including all the information that these guys need to play with. So I've created a whole bunch of stuff here. Of course, nobody except me can see this on the screen, and our people at home can also see it. I don't know if you guys want to.
People at the bus stop,
yeah.
see this.
So I've created a few little things here called how to create your character. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with you guys. Unfortunately, you guys will only see the top tier of everything here. So when you see this, you won't be able to click on any buttons, guys. You'll have to ask me, and then I'll have to share each one of them. Because each one of the little I'll show you here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we will share record with everybody. So here we go. Hopefully everybody gets that. Everybody get that popping up on their sheet, on their
You bet.
Yeah.
okay. So when we create characters, our characters are summed up in one sentence. You are a descriptor type that focis. So you have a descriptor, you have a type, you have a focus. Now the first thing you should concentrate on right at first is the type, even though it's in the middle of because the type is going to be basically like what kind of character you are as a base. So in the case of the strange, you have vectors, paradoxes, and spinners. And you guys are following along there correctly? You see all that?
bet.
Okay.
I always follow along correctly.
So-
like
Captain Rocksalt never fails to do so.
Please,
I'm not Captain
please,
Rocksalt,
sir.
I'm
Right
say
on the wire.
say it one step at a time, please. Right?
not Captain Rocksalt.
You sounded exactly
like
one step at a time, okay? So, anyways, so the vectors are kind of like the action-oriented fighters, warriors, that sort of thing. Paradoxes, they're like the scientists, wizards, savants, that kind of idea. The spinners are the face man con, the leader, that kind. They can be all, but you also have the little aspects which are before and after, which is the descriptor. So, say for example, we'll take Spencer's character here, Phyllis. Phyllis is a Phyllis the Diller. That should be your last name. Phyllis the Diller.
Alice.
Yeah. No, if you're not as old as some of us, you won't understand. Anyways, is a sharp-eyed spinner who looks for trouble is basically his three choices there. So he picked the type of a spinner, so he's going to be the guy most likely talking in behalf of the group in most cases when it comes to negotiating things. Sharp-eyed is how he perceives himself, within the world, and who looks for trouble is basically his basic focus as his character. Now, each of these, like the descriptor, will have a whole list of things that will be pertaining to his character, because you can have a sharp-eyed instead of a spinner's sharp-eyed vector, or a sharp-eyed paradox as well. But it's good to have a good variety in your group, kind of just to mix it up. The most important to be separated out for your entire group is to make sure that everybody chooses a different focus. So everybody can have the same. You could be a sharp-eyed spinner, and Fred could play a sharp-eyed paradox, and of course Dave can play a sharp-eyed vector if he wanted. But as long as the focus is different, it's all good. Now the problem.
My eyes are very sharp.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Now, whenever let's say for example we'll look at Phyllis here, and of course the rest of you guys can't see Phyllis, but I'm going to show you the in our screen as as Fred is joining the party behind him. So I'm going to share with you Sharp-Eyed. So let me go ahead and first off open up Sharp-Eyed and share it with everybody, so that the rest of you guys can see as well. So Sharp-Eyed in this case says that it gives you the description. You perceive well and are aware of your surroundings. You notice details and remember them. You can be difficult to surprise. You gain the following characteristics. So you get some skills. So his skills here is initiative actions. Another skill is perception actions, and he has a special ability here called Find the Flaw, which if the opponent has a straightforward weakness, like the opponent is like susceptible to fire or can't see out of his left eye or something, he will perceive that. So basically, I will be able to give like Spencer some extra information on any of the creatures or weird things that he may come upon that you guys, the rest of you guys, may not pick up on, unless you too are sharp-eyed. And then, of course, it gives you 4 different ways of kind of tying in your character with the other player characters, which we have to work on as a group. Okay, a little bit later on this topic. So, any questions so far, guys?
When do we start kicking?
Okay. So
we're only at the sharp-eyed part yet right now.
Okay, so let's go to the vector, because Fred's already seen everything about the paradox, and of course Spencer has seen everything about the spinner.
I see all.
You see all. So I'm going to share this for Dave's behalf, because Dave will be playing the vector. You got that, Dave?
I'm not sure where I'm. Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, it should be a new pop-up that I shared with you, saying vector.
Perfect.
So the vector gets. I'm going to go ahead and put Phyllis away over here, and we've got Dave's character here. So in the descriptor, I'm going to type vector, just so that we have. Oh, actually, vector over here. His descriptor is not yet determined. So, the vector, being a fighter, says that gives you basically the first starting stats of 10, 10, and 8. So your might is 10, your speed is 10, and your intellect is 8. Now,
Many hits to the head.
you won't be able to sustain as many hits to the head. Not that it would make any difference. Now it does also say you get an additional 6 points to divide among your pool, but save that, okay, players out there, save that until you've already selected your descriptor and your focus, because some of them will give you extra bonus points. And you may end up like overcompensating on something. Say that he picks something a little bit later that has in might, that might give him some more might, where Dave might decide he wants to be a little bit more intelligent. And if he assigns a whole bunch of points over to...
that.
Yeah. What's that?
Thanks.
You definitely use it.
Yeah. So if he goes ahead and cranks his points into might and not into intellect, and he can pull some of that into his intellect, then that's it's to your advantage. Okay.
So essentially, you can hold on to those points for later on.
And fill out your character a little bit more. Dave's got a really nice looking. He's got a really nice smile on his face.
Oh, ear to ear, man.
I'm just enjoying the proceedings. Continue.
Okay. So if you read through, it gives you an idea of what the vectors do in a group and how they react in the strange. You can read to your heart's content there, Dave. But when we get down to the first tier, which is our levels are known as tiers. And in this game, your tiers go all the way up to 6. So at first, 6. So at first tier, you get an effort of 1, which means that you can force something, you can force any kind of task to be lowered by 1 difficulty by using effort. Alrighty, and I will go through that in a little bit. So your physical nature, here it tells you that you have a might edge of 1, speed edge of 1, and intellect edge of 0. So we will change that for you in here. So your edge and might turns to 1. Your speed here turns to 1 as well, and then 0. So I got to change this to 8 here as well. There we go. So... Oh yeah, and if you're ever using this this Fantasy Grounds, you will know that in these boxes here is where you change everything, not in the big boxes. The little tiny boxes that say max number for each, the speed, might, and intellect. Otherwise, you try and change it out here, it's just going to subtract it and be determined as damage. So on this tool set. All right.
Damaging.
Alrighty, so also it tells you here that you are practiced with all weapons, and you are also, your defenses, you are trained with speed defense actions when not wearing armor, and you can carry 2 ciphers maximum at a time. So let's go into your inventory. So you click on your inventory tab, Dave, just to let you know, on your character sheet.
Right.
Okay. And I'm going to change your limit to 2 on there right now. Now, ciphers are things that are one-shot things. They could be like a grenade. They could be like a potion that you take or drink. It could be, matches. it's anything that's kind of like a one-off kind of instance or an item. Now, some ciphers will be like things that will do miraculous kinds of things, because we're dealing in the world of really kind of quasi-science, fantasy kind of stuff. So it could be all kinds of things in here. Because when we're dealing in the strange, we're going to be dimension jumping and doing all kinds of weird stuff. So what we're going to end up going to do is we're going to figure out your moves, all the different things that you're going to pick here. So when we pick your moves, which are basically bulleted down below, you get 2 of those. So you'll have to choose 2 of those different moves for your character as kind of like your special abilities. So we'll work on that off camera, of course. Now,
yes, where nothing illegal happens. Nothing illegal
exactly,
happens.
nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, does this suit look like it's a criminal's? It does not. That's the correct
like the
answer.
Jokers,
That's right.
man.
Alrighty.
Looks like the Jokers.
I'm going to share with all of you guys the basic mechanics of this entire system. Alrighty. So here we go. I'm going to share this with all of you, and everybody can see this on our. Or all our YouTubians out there can see this at home. So
I love YouTube and I love Google.
We loved our YouTubians. That's right.
Yes.
So
Give us more money.
yeah.
We definitely need to go to the planet Utopia sometime.
YouTubia. That may be something.
Sounds like an intriguing place.
All
to
right.
me.
So the way that everything works in the cipher system is whenever the players do something, let's say Dave, you were gonna go ahead and unlock something. So there's a lock in front of you, and I determine the lock difficulty is going to be 4. So if you see the task difficulty there, it says 4, which is difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you see across from there as well, there's a target number. So that target number is what you have to roll on the die 20 or over in order to succeed in it. Now, what you want to do is try to lower the task difficulty, that 4, like one step. You can use effort if you wish. Okay?
Mhm.
So if you use effort, you are kind of like you're going to be depleting points off of one of your like it could be intellect. You might be using your mind to try and work away at it. You might be working with using your dexterity or your speed. So instead, you'd be using your speed points. And if you have, if you go ahead and force something, it will cost you points. So it usually will cost you 3 points. But if you have an edge in there, which you do, because you're a vector, okay, because your character has an edge of 1 in any kind of might or any kind of speed tasks, then it's reduced by 1. So instead of 3 points, it's only going to cost you 2 points. Now, keep in mind, when you look at your character on the first main page, you have your currently, as we have your character sitting, your might is 10, your speed is 10, and your intellect is 8. If you go ahead and force that 4 into a 3, that's going to cost you 2 points, so your speed will suddenly go down to 8. Now, okay, so it's these pools will get reduced, but if your speed gets, say, reduced to 0, you see it puts a check mark down below here that says impaired, which means now it's more difficult for you to try to do any task at hand by 1 stage. Okay, so if you say you get attacked and you get hit for a whole bunch of points of damage and you take it all onto your intellect, it's some sort of mind psionic attack that's hit you, and it reduces your intellect to 0. Suddenly you are debilitated because both your speed and your intellect has been reduced, and now you're pretty much almost useless when it comes to you're relying on your might right now as your last vestige of hope here. But if, say, some monster comes along and stomps on you and causes a whole bunch of damage, which now brings you down to 0, you are now dead. Okay.
Why are all these things picking on me anyway?
Exactly.
So can we get these scores
You are the
back?
brute of the group there, Dave.
So, yes, you can get them back, and I will show you how. So over here we have recovery,
Good
which is right
question,
next to
Dave.
okay. So every time you go ahead and you use a recovery, you click on the dice, and that is the amount of recovery points you get. Now, the first time you go ahead, yeah, you can click on the first one there like that. The first time you use it, it's going to be one action that's going to get back that 4 points that you recovered back. So the second time you use it, it's going to take you 10 minutes of basically soak time in order to achieve a recovery roll. Next time you'll need to rest an hour before you can roll. So boom. And then the final time you'll need to rest 10 hours before. So you do get basically 4 rolls a day. All right?
Okay.
To return. Now you can work as a group and decide when you are going to take your recovery time, because in some cases it will take you. It's going to cost you time basically. So an hour is gonna have to be negotiable between like the players. You're all gonna have to basically decide on, okay, we're all gonna rest, and we'll take the 10-minute rest, right?
If I have to drag you, man, we're not going to be
That's
friends.
right. Exactly. So you guys will have to work that out. You can save all those recovery rolls for the end of the day, and do a full sleep and everything, and you will get all 4 rolls back onto your health. Alrighty. Well,
Okay.
basically on all your. When I say health, I mean all your points back. So that's how that works.
Let's just say though that you're at the 1 hour or the 10-minute mark or whatever. That's game time, right? Like that's,
yeah, this is game time.
We're doing something. We could be walking from point A to point B, and it took an hour.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I might have recovered something.
But that hour you have to be like basically resting. So
Right.
you are recovering. You're trying to recover. So when you do that one action, it's just one action of recovery. When you do the second one, it's 10 minutes. So you have to be basically at calm for 10 minutes.
So it's $1.10 for the 2.
Basically, what he's trying to get at is we'll work as a team. If we need to do a recovery, then we'll pick a resting point so we can recover.
Should we just skip the sleep and do cocaine instead, or?
Okay, well there are certain things like I say ciphers that you could use in order to boost yourself back. So there may be a debilitation to that as well. So it all depends on what that cipher does, right? So that's the thing about ciphers. Yeah, they could be anything. They could be a pill.
First aid kit, for instance.
Yeah, first aid. Yeah, certain things in a first aid kit will be ciphers basically. So that's why we have it called the cipher system. So also some ciphers will also help you in tasks as well. There might be a cipher that will help you drop that task difficulty even lower. So just keep that in mind. So now you know that you can expend points in order to force effort to bring a task difficulty down. So if you were to approach that lock, Dave, and you were at 4 and you decided to force it down to a 3, but say that you had an asset called lock picks. So you use your lock picks, and that brings it down to a 2. So now your roll for achieving that to unlock that lock will be 6 or higher as far as the roll goes on the D20. If
I have another question regarding that situation.
Okay.
Now, I got my lock picks. Can I still expend intellect or might or speed or whatever?
Yeah, you can
in
still
combination with that.
Yes, exactly. That's how you bring that task down. You can also get the aid of another player. Say that Spencer knows how to lockpick as well, and he can basically help you and bring that down as well. So that instead of 2, it'll end up being a 1. Alrighty, okay. But if you bring it all the way down to a 0 difficulty, all right,
Mm-hmm.
you can still roll. You will succeed, but your measure of success is also depending on how high of the roll of the die you make. So, for example, if you want to, Dave, go ahead and give us a might roll. So go back onto your sheet. You'll see a on your right below your might. There's that die.
Like that.
Exactly. So that one you'll see that it also said it applied the edge and everything, but there's nothing that you needed to do. You weren't targeting anything, or so edge doesn't really make any difference in this roll. But you can roll again until we get an effect here. So an 8, keep on going. And people are seeing this on screen. 16, that's getting close. If you roll a 17, let's see if you can get a 17 or higher. Yep, keep on going. Yeah, keep on doing it.
Oh, you want me to
5.
actually get 17
yeah.
on die roll?
Go ahead and roll until you get a
Oh,
successful roll here.
What?
Yeah, you're just rolling terrible here. Oh,
This is
16
very
is
much like one I'm actually playing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Is this actually just like a 16-sided dice?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
It's a bad-sided dice.
This is just
Yeah,
amazing. Your luck here.
I should have.
That's
There's
the kind of
basically
luck.
there you go, a
Oh,
17. Okay, so a 17 will okay. So it didn't actually say anything on here, but when you roll a 17, you get additional point of damage if it's a weapon that you're using. Alrighty. But if you roll a 19 or a 20, you also get a special effect added onto it. So you as a player can decide on what kind of special effect you're going to imply on this. So in case of an instance, if you're fighting somebody and you strike someone and you get a 19, you also get a minor effect put onto that strike. You can stun them for a round or something like that, or push them back, or if that's what you wish to do, or any kind of additional effect that you think that would be effective in the situation that you're in. You depending on what you could be standing on top of like pontoons on water or something like that, and you could be making everything shift around on him and unbalancing him. That would be your effect. So it depends on what you want to do, according to the situation. So just keep that in mind. You have a lot of leeway there. However, if you roll a 1 at any time, what will happen is
laugh at you.
What happens is I end up giving you what's called a GM intrusion. So I will have a stack of cards that have GM intrusions on it, and I will go ahead and flip one out and imply some sort of extra thing that's going to happen. It could be more enemies show up. It could be something happens that changes the whole situation. You suddenly get caught up in some sort of a flux of like you're in some sort of maelstrom created by whatever's around you. Depending on where you're at, there could be some way of dimension traveling or something. Boom, something happens, and suddenly you're something weird is going to happen. But so I can also
if you roll bad things are going to happen.
Yeah, but if I go ahead and I say I wish to insert a GM intrusion, I present 2 cards to you for experience points. And because it's to you, Dave, you get to choose who the other experience points goes to. You can give it to Fred or you can give it to Spencer. It's entirely up to you. It's whoever you choose. So what you do with these experience points is once you collect 4 of them, you're able to advance your character in some sort of aspect for each tier. So there's several ways that you can advance your character. And we'll go back to the first page on your character sheet here. you see that there is, you see tier and effort and XP on your sheet there, Dave?
Yep.
Right on the first page. All right, right beside, there is stat, there's an effect, there is an edge, and there is a skill. Those are the 4 things that you can do for tier 1 to advance your character. So in the case of a stat, you advance a stat by some points. You create an effect it'll give you some examples of it. You can put an edge point into something, so instead of edge 1, it'd be edge 2 on your might, which would lessen the points. So whenever you expend action, like an effort on might, now it'll only cost you 1 point instead of 3 points, which would be normal. So as it stands with you at 1, it only costs you 2 points. So with an edge of 2 would cost you basically 1 point to force something in effort with might. Are you catching on? Is this expanding your mind?
It's
blown, man.
It's
blown.
Yeah, mind blow.
Mind
Don't
blow.
forget it.
Not cocaine.
It doesn't take much to blow your mind, Freddie.
My
There
name
you
is Mind Blow. Don't you forget it. Capiche?
Are you going
Alrighty.
to talk like that throughout the whole next set of rounds that we play? That would be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
With a Spanish accent.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to wear the suit
I
too.
think it's more Italian.
I would actually almost justify the suit.
Yes. I am the drapiest
Not
of
that
all
the cocaine wouldn't.
Kids,
Okay,
don't do
so-
drugs unless they buy them from me.
So there we go. Yeah, he's going to be the paradox that sells drugs, basically.
Not the best.
Apparently, the spinner that doesn't spin very much, it's the paradox that spins.
Yeah.
In multiple ways.
All right, so that is the basic gist of the entire how Cypher system works. So now we are going to end up going, since we've been on here for a bit explaining everything, we're going to go offline here, and we are going to start creating our characters a little bit more and get everything set up for next week's game. So if anybody out there, in any of the YouTubians out there, want to ask questions about this system, or have, like, what do you mean by this, just put them down below in the comments, and I will explain, or make a video.
The question that you cannot ask is how I got the suit.
Or as the old saying goes, smash that like button.
Yes.
Smash the like button.
How I got it is very secret and very legal.
I just
Don't worry about it.
I just want everybody to subscribe. That's it.
Yes.
Everybody needs
Subscribe
to
or
hit that
consequences.
subscribe button.
Alrighty, guys.
We're
Take
doing
care
some
out
pretty cool
there.
stuff over here on this channel. You might want to join in by subscribing. Limited time offer, free.
Yeah.
Oh sure. Now you're you're committing me
People
now.
subscribe are 20%
Hey, it's
more
free,
likely
right?
to roll nat 20s.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later, and we'll see you next week.
Just remember, hit the subscribe button today.
Don't think you can get the better suit than this.